me, let's start this with it's a Monday. So how was your weekend? Let's start there.
My Monday, what? My week. That's how it was.
There we go.
My weekend was a lot, but really lovely at the same time. Like Friday, we had some friends over and we did a Drag Race Traitors doubleheader.
Oh my God, I am behind on Drag Race. I knew I had something to watch.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't talk about it.
Okay, but we can talk about Traitors.
We can talk about Traitors.
I'm missing a show this week. Okay.
It was a good episode. It was Talent Show Part 2.
Beautiful. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Saturday was, what did I do Saturday? Work, maybe. And then yesterday I got to go to my friend Audrey and Hamza's wedding down in Baltimore, which was a lot of driving, but it was a beautiful wedding.
Gay wedding, straight wedding?
Straight wedding.
Okay.
But honestly, like a little bit, Hamza's Pakistani and she is white. So it was like a cultural way. It was like a really incredible, beautiful evening.
And you drove back the same day, you said.
That was not a smart idea. We got home at 2 a.m., got up in the morning, did a Substack Live, and worked all day, and here we are.
Wow. You know what? Controversial hot take. I don't love a wedding. Ooh. Controversial hot take. I don't love a wedding. I love the idea of a wedding. I love that people are getting married, do that for you. But it can be a lot of work and a lot of money. Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. It's the finances. And then you got to show up and you got to get the gifts. And I'm like, low-key, I think we need to bring Zoom weddings back. That's a vibe.
That is a hot take. That is a controversial take.
Hot take. Bring back the Zoom weddings. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is for like, and if you're all in the chats, don't leave me hanging. Because I mean, like, there's some friends that you're like, I want to be there in person. But there are some people that you're like, I haven't talked to you in like a long time, love. Let me zoom in.
I mean, and I have some friends, like, the destination weddings are getting a bit... Granted, we did a destination wedding, but it's also
where was your wedding? Where's the destination?
It was in Hawaii, but I grew up there, so it was like in my dad's backyard. But we still like understood that we were asking people to travel, and like I think we were really understanding that if you couldn't make it, you couldn't make it, and that was totally okay. And we tried to help people save as much money there as possible because we're like,
that's very considerate.
You know,
so you weren't like a bridezilla. Wait, Jamie said I had a friend who streamed their wedding on Zoom, but they were in South Africa and had it at 11 a.m. their time. Oh yeah, so it's a chop. Yeah. They tried. Shout out to them trying now.
Yeah,
them trying. Okay, shall we talk about Traitors?
Oh, let's talk about Traitors.
Devastated by, but, and if you haven't watched, I don't know what to tell you because we're about to spoil it. But
you got 4 days.
You have 4 days, love. I feel like I knew that she was gonna go because she played herself with that bad rogue vote.
Yeah, which like Traitors is so addictive, but like so spooky too because it just like really illustrates the like social currency of people. Like I just feel like it brings out so much toxicity and just like the fact that at the end people are like, Rob could never be a traitor just because he's like so sweet and cute. And I was like, no, it's because he's a hot white straight dude. And so you all love
him.
Kristen,
no, Kristen, you got played by the white dude. Oh, come on. It's so basic. Eric's reaction at the end, I was like, oh,
I know.
Come through. Who are you rooting for? Who do you want to win?
Well, I was rooting for Lisa and Candace.
I know.
But if I had to pick somebody to win now, it's Johnny.
Oh, fair. Johnny and Tara for the win.
Yeah. Like, I just want them to just, like, make it all the way to the end.
Johnny's talking a little bit more, and I'm kind of here for it. I'm like, okay, Johnny's, like, putting it together, and he went against Candace, which I really, I'm like, yeah, this thing is on. This thing is on.
And that, like, aqua sort of giving scuba, but fashion.
Yes. Actually, I have a Johnny Weir and Tara story, it's a very short one, which is Great. When I first moved to LA, I was teaching at Flywheel Sports. I was teaching bar and spin classes. And there was a producer for I think it was a TLC show called Wedding Cake Wars or something like that. But it was hosted by Johnny and Tara. And my husband and I were about to get married. So we went and competed. We weren't competing. The bakers were competing to make our wedding cake. So we drove so far, like 2 hours away. And had these bakers bake these cakes based off of our, desires. Hated all the cakes. I hated all the cakes,
Uh-oh.
but one, and the one that we chose, the producers didn't choose. They kicked off so I literally said, I don't like chocolate cake or something. I think they chose the chocolate cake. And so we had to eat the cake and be like, yes, we love this cake. Luckily, we didn't have to have it at our wedding. We didn't do a wedding. We actually went to the courthouse in Santa Barbara, and it was so beautiful. If anyone's ever been to the Santa Barbara courthouse, it's like so gorgeous with all these flowers. And so when we took our photos, people literally thought that we had a wedding, and I got the angriest text messages from some friends. And I was like, girl, it was just the two of us. Don't worry.
Weddings are high stakes.
How long have you been married?
Since August, so not that long.
Okay.
Yeah,
how long
we've been
you been
together? 8 years.
Well, that's long.
I
count the whole time.
Yeah. What about you?
We have been married for 7 or 8 years and together for 10.5 years.
Ooh. Cute.
What's the secret to 8 years?
Good communication and like letting each other do our own things.
Yes.
Which I had to learn. That was a really hard lesson for me to learn.
He had to learn it too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's your sign?
I'm a Taurus. What are you?
Okay, I'm a Libra.
Oh, okay. I fucks with Libra. Yeah.
But my husband's a Capricorn, so he's like very independent.
Okay, yeah, I'm an independent girly down. Beyonce wrote that song about me, and so I need my space. By the way, I rewatched Charlie's Angels recently. I recommend.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, the idea of like us having to do everything together really stresses me out, and I need space. I'm actually here for the people who are like, we got separate bedrooms. I'm like, work.
My husband jokes about that often. I'm like, hey, if you want separate bedrooms, we can have our bedroom and your bedroom, not mine and yours.
Okay.
That's my agreement.
I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like you get to build the blueprint that you want for yourself, and like whatever works for each other is the tea.
Exactly. I think everyone's like relationships are their own, and trying to make yours look like anyone else is the secret to unhappiness.
Period. When did you learn that lesson?
Pretty early on, I think. When I moved to New York in 2017, I like really threw myself in the dating scene and was like, ooh, okay, I can date single people, I can date couples, I dated a throuple, I like just really went all around. And my brother at the time sort of gave me this tongue-in-cheek book called Relationships. And it was actually like really sort of instrumental to how I view them now. And it just like breaks down all these conventions that we have and all the things that we're told we're supposed to believe about them. And I just was so enamored with how many different types of relationships I saw and this book that I was like, wait a second. I can like make whatever I want. Like I can make the rules. I don't have to just do what everyone else does. And that was the best. It was really freeing. Yeah.
Are y'all open?
Very, very publicly.
Beautiful.
We of my podcast, Getting Close, our Valentine's Day episode is tomorrow, which is just me and Casey talking about our relationship. And we ended up asking people for questions that they wanted us to talk about. And I would say like 85% of them were about the openness.
Oh my goodness. Well, can I ask about that?
Ask away.
Period. How did you open your relationship?
So I brought it up first.
And
based on like having learned all of these things about relationships, pretty early on, I was like, hey, just so you know, I don't need to open up now. I don't even know if openness is like the word I'm looking for, but I am interested in some form of atypical relationships, and I want to build our relationship for us. And he thought I brought it up too soon, which is one of my favorite examples, because he was like, I wish you had waited till like we had a bit more trust. You know, he thought that I was bringing it up so that I could just like start having sex with the people I had already had sex with before him. He was like, well, you're just waiting till we open up to like go back to them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I like always use that example because I think it shows how two people can have perfectly valid reasons for wanting different communication. And it just took time to iron that out.
How much time did it take to iron that out?
a while, because we were together for like 6 months. We did a year of long distance, but weren't open, and then COVID happened. And we sort of did like digital openness a little bit
What
during
is digital?
COVID. Like we could like flirt and sext and do
Okay.
all of that, but nothing in person because COVID.
Yeah, fair.
And then after COVID, we broke up.
Huh.
And then we got back together. And then after like 6 or so months of being back together, then we opened it up again.
What have you learned about yourself from openness?
How to say what I want. That
Ah,
was the biggest thing is when I would come to him and ask for something, I would usually be like, "Hey, like, is this okay?" Like, and he'd be like, "I hear you, and I hear you trying to be respectful of my emotions, but if you want something, I just need you to say it and not backtrack, and then I'll process it, and then we'll talk about it." And that is still very hard for me, but we're working on it.
how baby, I'm gonna just keep asking these
I
questions.
love it.
Oh, okay.
I knew I settled on the couch for a reason.
How are you working on it? Or like what are your like steps to work on it?
Um, not great question.
Listen.
Um, not like not assuming what he's gonna say based on like the rules that I have, right?
Uh-huh.
Like just trusting that if I have a question, I can ask it and I don't have to like rack my brain for all these reasons that I think he's gonna say what I think he's gonna say.
Yeah. That
And I
makes
think
sense.
like that is a trap that I think a lot of like long-term partners fall into, whether they're open or not, is just, oh, well, I know what my partner's going to say, because we've been
Yes.
together for so long. And ironically, I usually know that he's going to say yes. I just still feel like I shouldn't ask for things sometimes.
That is some trauma, probably, right? Some like
It sure
old school.
is.
Yeah, it's funny. We're open, we're
Mhm.
poly. I think I would say the same answer. What I've learned the most is like how to communicate, and even
Yeah.
still, like trying to get better at it. But the assumption that you know what your partner is going to say, is such a trap because the hope is if you're together that you're both growing. And so
Right.
if we're growing, we're evolving, and our answers will change. So what we might have felt in year one may not necessarily be what we feel in year 5 or year 10, but we don't we're not like taught to share that the changes are happening. Like
Right.
often our like tension would be that Matthew's point of view had changed on something, but like I didn't know that it changed. So I was still working off of an old model.
Hmm.
Like, oh no, we need to continue talking because yeah, you're going to learn. And as the trust grows between us, things that might have felt a little spicier or pricklier in year one, like asking to open the relationship, in year 5, you're like, well, I trust you a lot more now, or we've
Right.
been through X, Y, and Z. So it's not as prickly to me, but it's a, it's like a force field in the mind.
Hmm.
I think also like, I would say this as queers, we keep the peace. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there is a value in keeping the peace, the value in staying safe. And I
Hmm.
think we do that a lot of times by being quiet or by
Yeah.
taking care of our own needs. And then I think we sometimes can bring that into, I would say, queers, women, femmes, like bring that into the relationship because you're like, oh, I'm taught to not rock the boat, or that
Yeah.
my feelings or my expression is too big. And so you just make assumptions and stay quiet and you swallow. But what I'm learning now for myself is you swallow. Amen.
That's what I
Um,
got.
what I'm
That's what I took away from that. That
that's what I
queer
took.
swallow.
You swallow. But like even if you swallow the emotions, what I'm learning now is that the body will always express it in some way.
Hmm.
So, like, whether there's a quiet distance that develops, resentment becomes that kind of third person relationship, or even
Yeah.
in like physical illnesses and ailments can start to take over because you're like denying and suppressing your actual needs as opposed to just getting it out.
Right. I actually had a really fascinating conversation this morning with Lawrence Winterman, who's on Substack. They do the Daily Whatever show.
Okay.
And I was talking to him about my tendency to be a hypochondriac. And we
Mm.
were talking about like the importance of gay doctors and how hard it is to have straight doctors. And he was like, I actually don't think you're a hypochondriac. I think you are just someone who like you're a gay man, so you came up knowing that like AIDS and HIV was always present. And he's like, so we
Mm,
also like he's like, I think so many queer people do have this hypochondria or like heightened awareness of their bodies because it was always something that was present, I would say, for
yeah.
like my generation and before, which I had never thought about before.
Yeah, I mean, I want to find another word for trauma, but it is
Sure.
that, right? It's like it's this all these things that kind of seeped into our psyche in I say in the playground stages and the high school stages. And if we don't actually ask questions in our adulthood, we're actually still operating off of that same blueprint. That
Mm-hmm.
like I'm my whole adulthood right now, I ask this question, who would I be if society never got its hands on me? Which is my
Ooh,
like overall governing question for the rest of my life. But it's this to me, it's the idea of you got to pull at all those threads of who you think you are because a lot of it you adopt it. A lot of it are social
right.
scripts that we adopt. This, I mean, we know this especially in terms of sex, like what kind of sex you like or what you might call your preferences or your turn on. Some of it has just been adopted and is so rooted in shame.
Mm-hmm.
You're not calling it that and you're not questioning it. So then it continues to run your daily life. It continues to influence how you move in the world. So I think curiosity is uh, the most important tenet of adulthood is being curious. What are
Oh,
people saying?
yes. I love that. I know, hold on. I think my internet is unstable.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
You,
If you can hear me, we're good.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's like a little choppy, but I'm gonna assume it's the cold
Maybe.
fucking with my Wi-Fi.
I tried to come on the desktop because I was like, oh, maybe it'll help with my internet. But let's see.
Who knows? I can hear you.
Okay,
And I can
gorge.
it's like, it's like moving in like a nice little freeze frame.
Gorgeous. A little dance.
Okay, no, we're back. There we go.
Perfect. A little dance.
And Alex can hear both of us. Thank you, Alex.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, I think curiosity is so important. I think the way I try to approach my writing is through, or my ethos is like curiosity, connection, and community are my sort of
Ooh.
three pillars that I like to go through. And I'm a very curious person, and I think life is too short to not be curious about things.
Yes. My pillars are curiosity, communication, and compassion.
Ooh. Uh,
Yes.
okay. Wait, we have so much in
Yes.
common. I love
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Um,
How do y'all navigate? Well, I'm asking you a lot of questions. Do you have a question?
yeah, I want to know how you handled the conversation around openness.
You know what? Honestly, my partner brought it up first, which I think ended up being better because I think I didn't have language for what openness was or what polyamory and non-monogamy was, but I always knew that I didn't care if that
Hmm.
were the case. Like I knew that I didn't. My big rule was just don't lie to me. Like
Sure.
I never cared about a partner sleeping with somebody else. I just like wanted to know, but I didn't understand that there was a term for that, which is
Right.
right. So when he brought it up, it was he was started to work out. He was feeling cute. And we were at LA. It's like let's try this. And so I was like, all right, cool, let's try it. And we opened in a time where like it wasn't even an option on Grinder to say that you were open.
Right.
So we got a lot of. It's funny, like gays are liberal, but they really not.
No,
They're
you're
progressive, but they're
stressed.
really not, just stressed, and so people were pissed that we were open, and we're like, "But we're saying that we're open, like, there's no like, he knows I'm here, I know he's like." So it started there, and there was some trial and error, we had to close our relationship because
Hmm.
it took us away from each other.
Sure.
We didn't, like, build the guardrails, like, that's what I would say to anyone starting now, is like, "What are your guardrails?" And, like, to not open the relationship if your own relationship is unsettled,
Yeah.
so that it's not a Band-Aid, it's not a fix, it actually will pull you further away from each other, and so we had, like, mended what that was and then reopened, but I'll tell you this, he was really good at just, having one-offs.
Hmm.
I was not, and this was before I really started, like, learning about my relationship to sex, but I'm just, like, not good at the random hookups. Don't have any like, sometimes I can, but, like,
It's another thing we have in common.
Okay, come on, Libra. I need like some kind of connection.
Yeah.
And so I needed the permission to get to know somebody or to like have a repeat partner. And so we started to like move into this open towards like non-monogamy space.
Right.
And eventually it moved into polyamory as we both, I guess, became a little, I say we have emotional dicks. So, it just only works when there's a connection. And so as that became more clear that we were like needing a little more of that emotional connection in our sex, we started to play with polyamory. Now I have 2 partners. Yeah.
Yes.
So
I love.
not to brag, girl.
It's fine. Just leave some for the rest of us.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, it is really funny the more I talk about openness online and like with the dads and daddies, that was the whole episode.
Yeah.
And just the amount of, I would say, criticism, hate, and judgment based on just like outdated practices and outdated to me. Like I get that open relationships and non-traditional relationships are a ton of work and a lot of people don't want to do that work, and that is absolutely great. But I just was so surprised at how many people are so quick to get angry at the thought of other people being in open relationships and like across the spectrum,
Yeah, I think it's the same reason that people get mad at like anyone that looks free, right? I think it's the same reason that people get mad at gender queer or trans folks, like, or why people get mad at gay folks. It's because it's like, oh, you're doing something that goes against what is correct, or you're living in a way that is free, that's liberated. And so when they can't compute or conceive of that, I think instead of getting curious, because our society doesn't value curiosity, it values knowing, it values authority. And so if it's not a yes or a no or this or that, then I think it activates people's anger. As opposed to being like, oh, I wonder why I'm upset about this, or I wonder if this is something that I want for myself. I had Scott Evans on the podcast, and we were talking about jealousy in polyamory. And it kind of led into, it's funny how people have a lot of hard feelings about non-monogamy. And meanwhile, a lot of monogamous relationships aren't always monogamous. It's just like, they don't be talking about what they be doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like there are a lot of people practicing non-monogamy unethically. So, it's something to look at. It's something to, for sure, examine what fear it brings up in people.
A lot of fear.
Yeah. Were you afraid of it before?
I don't think I was afraid of it because I don't think I had a lot of exposure to it before I started like doing it. I guess I when I moved to New York, dated a lot of like couples and such, because to me that was like a really safe space to explore relationship.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I can have really emotional connected sex. I can develop these sort of like lowercase r relationships that was so were like meaningful relationships, but I'd never had to worry about having the what are we conversation.
Yeah, sure.
And so I was like, ooh, I can like practice my emotional intelligence, and I can figure out what I like and what I don't like and what I will tolerate and what I won't. And then I didn't I'd say like my biggest relationship in New York before Casey was with one of the people in this throuple and sort of the throuple in and of itself. And so that was super atypical anyway. And then I met Casey and was like, I've just come out of all of this and here we are, and who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. How do you navigate being the third in a throuple? So they were already a couple and you joined?
No, I was technically the fourth.
I got on today. Yeah.
It was, I like moved a block away from them, talked to one of them on Grindr. They had 2 like separate bedrooms, and I would just like go over on Fridays and spend the weekend with them. And it was like the best introduction to New York. And I really loved like the quartet aspect because it felt really balanced. And when it was times when it was 3 of us, I actually was like, whoa, I actually don't like this as much. This is really hard for me to balance as a Libra.
The trio, there you go. The trio is really hard. Like,
yeah.
I think.
How do you balance it?
Well, I don't. They're separate, love.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Great.
Respect to the Frepples. I can't do it.
But
Because
you're still balancing.
and it's a lot, baby. It's a lot, baby. At one point when we started, everyone had a partner. Everyone had another partner. So when we began, my partner had a partner. My other partner had a partner, and then I don't know. Like I forget that people break up. So
Right.
during that time, they both lost their partners, and I became the only partner. And that was an adjustment, love.
Speaking of change.
That
Yeah.
was transition. Um, uh, but a lot of more communication, right? A lot of like even clarifying the guardrails and the rules that not rules, but I would say the guardrails, expectations that much more. And then just making sure that everyone's getting their needs met.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like being able to express the needs that you need, express what you need, as opposed to actually needing it to be followed through on, if that makes sense. Or expressing your fears rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something I have trouble with, just being like, hey, I just need to say this. I don't really need like a response. Like you can obviously respond, but I sort of just need to verbalize. And how can we we've taken my husband and I, like, anytime I sort of want to have a very like peaceful conversation, I'll be like, okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
uh,
Absolutely.
I feel like I love like learning about like the little things that people in relationships do that are like unique to them in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I will I will not text uh because sometimes I used to text like, "Hey, well, let's talk later." I realize that that immediately puts my partner in the like starts to spiral.
Yep.
So I tend to wait until it's nighttime and then I'll be like, "Hey, do you have the capacity to have a conversation about X, Y, and Z?" And also like saying, "This is low stakes for me. It's not high urgency. We can do it tomorrow."
Right.
I've gotten better at that, but
But what respectful communication.
I try to be because we love each other, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no. I talk about this often, but like I was in an emotionally abusive relationship in my 20s, and just like learning that you don't need to talk. People don't need to talk to you like that, and
Right.
uh, like we're adults and we can have really grounded conversations even in conflict, but I think sometimes and I'm not making excuses for that partner, but I think there's such a fear of abandonment sometimes that people lash out. They don't know what to do with that or where to place it, and it has nothing to do with the person in front of you, but there's a fear of being left. And so some people, when they're afraid of being left, kind of shrink, but others I think
Right.
lash out, and show their claws.
Yeah.
It's like there's no need for that. Like I'm here and I want you to be happy and safe because I love you and I'm on your team. Like that's important. I'm on your
Yeah.
team.
But I think that's like always the thing to remember, and also goes back to your point about like not using openness if your relationship is not already an established team. Is like you do always, if it's open and not, poly, I feel like has its own different rules, but like like how where the priorities lie. And if you're already detached from your partner, then you're like, well, what priorities? But if you always come back and remember that, like, I think the best thing about openness, and I've done a lot of like very informal research and studies about it with my little internet corner,
Yeah.
is that like the most frequent thing that people say is how much openness actually brings them closer to their people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think there's something, and it's very like, as somebody who's like in like TV and media in that way, it's like I think there's a Disney fantasy of I'm gonna meet this person and that is the only person I will ever look at for the rest of my life. And it's like that's not realistic. You're gonna have
No.
desires. And so if I'm gonna walk this life with you, I want to be honest about the fact that I don't have to act on them, but even just being
Right.
able to talk about it or know that it's safe to act on it and know that like I will still be transparent with you and have conversations with you, and make sure you feel safe inside of this. It's like, oh, that can work. As opposed to, I think a lot of it is set up through fear. It's like
Right.
the possessiveness, the possession, because I'm going to lose you, so you're mine, and so I'm going to keep you. Like even like
Right.
some people like don't even look at her. Like, what are you talking about?
But she's right there. She's so pretty.
She's so pretty. What do you mean? I love it. She's so
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah.
And it's like it's a whole different level of trust, and a whole
Yeah.
different level of like faith in your partner. And that's something really profound. Oh, wait, no, that's what it was.
There it is.
Oh, fuck, it was about, okay, Barbie Dream Life. Thank you for Alex for saying that. And it was about how we are conditioned to believe this. And I feel like the most common thing that people say if their partner brings up openness, it's like, why am I not enough?
Mm.
And it's, to me, what I've like really spent a lot of time trying to answer that question for people is that you can actually be enough and you still just can't be everything. Like, I can only be me. I cannot be any other thing for my partner than me. And why, like, if you want something else that I am not, like, it's not a failing of my own. I'm just like not that
1,000%.
thing, you
Enough
know?
and everything are very different things.
Yeah.
There's like being enough, which you are, but then there's everything. It's like as simple as like you might want to try that kink out, and that is not a kink of mine, but I want you to
Right.
have it. You're a grown up, be
Mm-hmm.
able to explore that thing. And so, like, is there a way for me to allow you to explore that
Right.
and be part of that exploration, or let that be a private exploration for you? Absolutely. That it's not, I think that is, but I think that comes from like self love, quite honestly.
Sure.
Like knowing that you're the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And that you are not then that you're not every shit.
you're not every shit, but you are the shit.
Exactly.
Okay. And it's like
Very important distinction.
very important, So it's like, you're that girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that girl. I'm you wanting to try something else over here does not make me any less that girl.
Right.
And so I think when you have that love for yourself and that confidence in yourself, it can make it a little easier. I would say if there's any insecurity, which insecure is natural, but if there
Yeah.
is insecurity, then that's just gonna kind of turn up the heat on that. Somebody said, but how do
Mm-hmm.
you say go try or have fun with that kink and not be rude? And not be rude.
I think I think, I think with most things, I try to like obviously keep an open mind, and I'm like, I'll try most things once if it's like something that's important to my partner. And I think doing something enough times to realize that it's not for you, right? Because I think we have again a lot of prejudices about a lot of kinks that
Sure.
come up very strongly. Sex is very emotional and hard to sort of parse through sometimes. And so I would say if your partner has a kink that you're not into, give it a try. It may surprise you. And if you don't like it, you're allowed to not like it. And then be like, but incredible, you can go like it with someone else.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely. I think talking about it too, like I think when you understand why they're interested in it, which might be simply like, I don't know, but I am.
Yeah.
But like talking about it and kind of demystifying it a little bit, doing some research on it before you engage in it and like seeing, oh, is this something that I could be into? Um, Learning what the emotional connection to it is, also being able to explain the emotional connection to a thing, or why you're curious about something, I think
Yeah.
softens it a little bit. Again, like entering from compassion and curiosity, I think will frame that communication in a way that's not rude.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think like really being cognizant of like, I'm not being judgmental here. I'm genuinely am curious about
Right.
what this thing is.
I do
What's
baseball, so 3 strikes you're out before I say no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
fair.
fine.
Speaking of kink, have you seen Pillion
No, I
yet?
haven't. I need to. I'm excited about it.
Very, very good. Very intense
Okay.
and very, I'm not gonna say hard to watch, but it's like a challenging watch because its depiction of kink is so extreme and so honest. But it is really, really, really good.
Dope. I'm
Yeah.
excited. How
Um,
long is it?
an hour 40,
Okay. I'll
I think.
bring back hour 40. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
give you a hard pivot, love. I watched Sister Act 2 over the weekend. It's an hour 47.
Ooh.
And I just feel like all these 2.5, 3 hour movies, chill the fuck out. Like, what do
Nope.
we movies used to be a solid 90 minutes in and out. You can tell me a story in 90 minutes. I don't need your 245. That's
You can tell, yeah, you can tell a great story in that. And it is done well, Alex. Yeah.
love
Also
love
because like a lot of the not background, but the characters that sort of fill out the rest of the biker gang are the actual biker gang, the Gay Men's Biker GMBCC. So it is done like so honestly because it's
Oh,
their input and it's their world that then Alexander Skarsgård and Harry Mellon are in.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a kink that you discovered that surprised you?
Ooh, vulnerable.
Oh, you don't have to answer.
Um, no, do I have a kink I've discovered that that has surprised me? I think, I mean, in that, it's not like too extreme, but like there are definitely times like the submissive dominance play. I feel like because the world is so insane.
Yeah.
Like we are all so anxious, and so I have seen like this rise in New York. I don't know if you've seen it in LA of like dom sub dynamics a ton in the past.
Yeah.
I'd say like 5 years, and sometimes like those are really pleasant on either side to just be like, yeah, I want to engage in like a sexual experience that has really clear rules. There isn't like the guessing. There isn't the like, what happens now? It's just like,
Yeah.
this is what you're doing. This is what I'm doing, and you're like, great.
That is the beauty of kink, the clarity. Kink is
Oh,
very like clear,
very clear.
or clear rules and boundaries around that. Mine was pain. I didn't realize that I
Huh.
had, and I've lightly explored it to like nipples and
Yeah.
ball tapping, but I was really surprised at that, like
Hmm.
a little bit of pain during sex.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not like a, again, there's good pain, bad pain, like the right pain.
Pillion, bad pain.
Okay, got you, got you,
Big pain.
got you. Like I'm not trying to get like beat the fuck up. No.
Yeah.
But that was a surprising one for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out I'm gonna figure out the question as I sort of say this
Yeah,
statement.
go ahead.
But I wrote a review about Pillion, and in it I talk about like my least favorite conversation that comes up when talking about kink, which is always how like fucked up the person has to be in order to engage in the kink. Because even at the after party for the screening, which was at the Eagle, which was
Word.
wonderful. But like everyone was like, "Oh my god, like those men need therapy. Like they must have all of this stuff." And I'm always just like, "Can't people just like kink to like kink? Like can it just feel a type of way and that be good?" Like I feel like even in all the dramatizations of kink, it's like, "Well, he was a really troubled kid and that's why he likes getting hurt." And you're like, what if
Well,
it just feels good?"
it might just feel good, and two, like everybody's fucked up. So what are you talking about? At
Right.
least they're like expressing it in a way that is safe and healthy, whereas a lot of us just repress it. So you might rage at
Right.
that too. Yeah, I think again, it's like that internalized sexual disgust. I think it's a,
Yeah.
when we don't understand something, we go to how do we judge it? How do we box it?
Hmm.
If we can't allow ourselves to be that liberated, then there must be something wrong with it, as opposed
Right.
to, oh, what, I'm curious, not about their trauma, but like, what can I unlock in myself? Maybe I don't want to have piss play, but like, what are the things in my sex life that I can unlock for myself?
Yeah.
Uh, as opposed to going right to a judgment. How did you
Mm.
get non-judgmental?
Ooh. I grew up in Hawaii.
Ah,
Yeah. I think that it is really a product of my upbringing. I grew up in a yurt in the middle of nowhere.
what's a yurt?
You know, in like Mongolia, the sort of like tents, the
Uh-huh.
like that is a yurt.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's coming back to
So
me.
I grew up in a studio apartment in the jungle with one room with my whole family.
Oh my goodness.
Um, and then I moved to like a very small town, but it was so insular that like everyone knows what car everyone drives. So like you always have to be really respectful.
Yeah,
And I learned from a pretty young age, like there's so much talk there about like colonialism and like what the white colonizers have done to Native Hawaiians. And so I grew up pretty aware that like Hawaii wasn't like my place. You
yeah.
know, that I was very much a visitor in the space, and I think that has really informed how I move through the world
That
now.
makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
What about you?
my grandmother was a minister. My mom was an actor, and she was like really fun and cool. And then she became a born again Christian, and we've been no contact for
Oh
about
shit.
15 years.
Okay.
Um, but in that 15 years, I had to like I think re-raise myself.
Hmm.
So there was a bit of my mom was a bit more open-minded when I was younger, but then once she like turned, I think I had to become more curious about who I am, and how I talk to myself.
Yeah.
And I think in navigating how I talk to myself, it's like, well, how do I want to show up for others as well? Because it's like she didn't like that I am queer. And so like feeling that rejection, I never wanted anyone else to feel that same rejection because it's like, oh no, I'm a good person. And so once I figured out how to love myself in that way, then it was really like a politic of live and let live.
Hmm.
That I don't want to be rejected for who I am. And so I'm not going to reject other people for who they are. I'd rather just be curious about them, and learn about them. And that life is so much more exciting, right? Like
Yeah.
when there's a judgment, you actually are closing yourself off from so many beautiful things in this world that we just wouldn't understand or wouldn't get to engage or explore in until you're like, oh, I'm not going to have a judgment. I'm just going to keep this heart
Yeah.
open, keep this mind open. So, yeah, that's how I developed the non-judgment. Uh,
What a what a good response to a hard situation.
I'm really grateful for that because I think it could have turned me really hard. But I will say that I think by the time my mom flipped, she had already raised me one way.
Sure.
So I also like went to an international school, Eunice in New York,
Okay.
and my United Nations International School. Shout
Bam.
out!
Where
Hey,
is that in the city?
there's one in the city. I went to the Queens campus, which was in Jamaica Estates.
I'm in
Shout out.
Astoria, baby.
Okay, baby, yes. And my eighth grade teacher, Mrs. Sowanis, said, "We don't tolerate people; we celebrate them. We don't tolerate
Mm.
differences; we celebrate them." And that was like a big thing that always stayed with me. Don't tolerate people. Like celebrate their differences, celebrate their ethnicities and their identities and their cultures. So yeah, so that was I think
Yeah.
those two things for sure.
And I think like what a perfect time to have that conversation. Did you watch the halftime show?
Of course, of course, of course.
Like
Really beautiful. Like I didn't understand a single word and I was obsessed.
I was like a little bit of my high school Spanish came back, but I just was
Yeah.
like, oh, and it was so funny. I really watched it in earnest this morning, but I watched it was playing last night at the wedding we were at. And
Okay.
at one point I just looked over and it was like this group of people, everyone was circled around the table watching on a tiny iPhone the halftime show in the middle of this like beautifully elaborate Muslim wedding. And
Oh,
I just was like, this is like a really beautiful intersection and cross section of like what America could look like right now.
yeah. The bet when it's at
Yeah.
its best. I don't know what if it's ever been at its best, but the best parts of it.
We're
Yeah.
working on it
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, it's my favorite part about watching my experience watching it, which I watched it this
Yeah.
morning. It reminded me of watching dance because I'm not a dancer, but I'm so moved by dance. And it's like I don't understand that language, but you can move me just by
Hmm.
expression. I think that's the beauty of art. It's like I don't understand, but I understand. Like my
Right.
heart as a human understands what this is and what this means and how powerful this is. And yeah, it was just like it was I was emotional this morning. Like I was like,
Yeah.
like, and again, also like given the times that we're in, um, the need for hope and for people to see themselves and
Oh,
to celebrate themselves and um inside of this dark chamber that we're in,
yeah.
is profound and necessary.
And I think he like told such a beautiful story too.
Hmm.
Like everything was so intentional and everything had such a smart, like detailed point of view.
Yeah.
And again, it just all came back to like how is this something that you could hate, you know?
Yeah. I've really come to the conclusion, and how do I want to phrase this? Because in 2020 I was doing a lot of conversations around this same shit.
Right.
And obviously that was painful and sad and exhausting, and for the landscape to look pretty much the same, if not worse, has also been taxing to like
Yeah.
engage. And I'll be very honest right now. I started antidepressants a couple days ago,
Okay.
which my therapist recommended, and it was just kind of like, oh, everything is like collapsing. So there are life things, but it was like I'm having like the worst dreams, and shooting up, not shooting up, my God, shooting awake. My God. My God. Hey,
Okay, great.
cut that.
Nobody pull that clip. Nobody pull that clip. Substack, don't auto-generate that moment.
Please. Shooting up awake,
Mm-hmm.
from these, kind of nightmares that I think I had as a kid. Because as a kid,
Wow.
I didn't recognize, when you would learn about things like the Klan and white supremacy and, slavery and all these horrific atrocities. There was a fear as a kid that it would happen to me, but then there was like,
Yeah.
a, no, no, like you're in America, babe. Like it's fine. Like we good. We figured that out. We're past that. And as a kid, you like that Disneyfy it. You're like, okay, yes, of course, here we are. And now being an adult and being the adults and being like, oh no, no, wait. It never changed. It
Right.
never got better. And two, like these nightmares are actually realities. Um, it is a lot. Is a
Yeah.
lot to navigate, and so hence, taking care of myself in that way. But the the hate of it all, or it's like a way for people to feel powerful and that they are actually scared of themselves. That
Right.
doesn't make it better. But people will do the worst things to not see themselves. Again, that's not to hold account. Like that's not doesn't excuse anything, but it's just like, oh, this is an extreme version of ignoring who you are.
Yeah.
And this is what the price is when you do not want to see who you are, when you don't want to see your own humanity, let alone the humanity in others, as you start to act in a way that is monstrous.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it is so hard and painful and uncomfortable to do that work.
Yeah,
And it's so much easier to just be mad at someone,
yeah.
which is heartbreaking, but
Yeah. Yes, it's that, right? Like it's harder to say I'm scared, I'm sad, everything I thought I understood, I don't, or I wasn't hugged enough, or I wasn't loved
right.
enough, or it's harder to the easier emotion is always anger.
Right.
When we all know that underneath that anger is always a sadness. And but we as a culture and as a society are so afraid. Sadness equates weakness, and so we're so afraid of that we push it away, and people become monsters. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I
And
think
because like it's so vulnerable. I mean, my husband has been dealing with some back injuries and he's in chess on Broadway, but he's been out for 2 months and
mm,
it's proving to be like a little bit longer. And he's so stoic, but he just came in like 2 days ago and was like, I'm really sad.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, like I get it, but in that moment, like, cause he again is like not somebody who does that often.
yeah,
It's hard. And like, again, the world sucks. And I commend you for taking action on your mental health. Like I remember when
always.
I got on anti-anxiety meds, it was because I was listening to a podcast that does not exist anymore called Food for Thought, which is so good.
No,
I don't know if you know it, but
no, I
it was so
don't.
good. It's four queers just like talking about anything they want. It's
Sounds
so
good.
good. But they were talking about like brain drugs, and they're like, you can't meditate away racism. You can't meditate away homophobia. You can't meditate and self-care away what feels like the end of the world.
It's that.
And it is not a sign of weakness to say, like, I need something else. I'm doing all of the work that I can
Yeah,
on
absolutely,
myself. And
baby,
if I need
absolutely.
something else, like, come on, let's do it.
I need a little support. Like this world is
Yeah.
hard, so I need a little support. Yeah, Yeah. Let me ask you the last question that I always ask on live streams whenever I have a guest, which is, what do you love most about yourself?
Okay, I just want to say, though, that this whole time, and I do not know why, I've never thought this question before, but this whole time I was like, I really want to ask them what their favorite thing is about themselves.
Oh my goodness.
So
this connection.
That's spooky.
Okay. Okay. Well, you go first.
Okay, wait. Yeah. Phrase yours again, because it was a little different than mine.
What do you love most about yourself?
I really love my personality. Yeah, I think having spent the last 10 years out of school and then the 4 years in school, like focusing on musical theater and acting, to finally in this like Substack podcast world be able to look in a different direction and finally not try to contort myself into what I think other people want me to be. I can just actually like be me.
Oof, yeah.
Like I cried a bunch yesterday about it because I was just like, whoa, this feels so much better. And it has to do with like, I think I'm a very curious person. I think I'm a very empathetic person. And I attribute that to being gay and Hawaii and really love both of those things about myself.
I love that.
Okay, what about you?
Well, what do I love most about myself? I love my unwavering commitment to taking care of myself, like to parent myself. I had a mentor when I was first navigating my emotionally abusive ex and then my mother. She said, if you were your own parent, what advice would you give to yourself? And so like that moment 15 years ago, becoming my own parent. And so I love that I ride hard for myself. Like I will go to the mat. I'm not going to abandon myself, and I can trust that I will always have my back. So I love my unwavering commitment to taking care of myself.
Ah, I love that. What a beautiful sentiment.
Thank you. I love talking to you.
Me too. This was so fun.
Aidan. I was like, we'll be here for like 30 minutes, but we're almost here for an hour. Incredible. What do you do for the rest of your night?
Oh, I'm gonna probably make like a little snack and then try to go to bed early so I could kick this cold.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little ginger.
Some tea.
Some tea, a little something. There we go. There we go.
An edible. What about you?
Did you say a bowl?
I said a little edible or a bowl.
Oh, edible. Okay, beautiful. Perfect. That's
whichever one.
I'm gonna finish meal prepping. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of work, and then because it's a little earlier for me than it is for you.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna sit up, and then I think I have Potomac because I think it's the Karen Huger interview.
And you have Drag Race.
And I have Drag Race. Tonight is going to be excellent. Yeah,
drama.
Catch up on that. Exactly. I'm gonna catch up on all my dramas. Well, I can't wait to talk to you again soon. And I'll see you when I'm in New York for sure.
Yes. Yeah. This has been so lovely.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Bye, baby.
Bye.